good morning. This is Clive Wang, and I have a guest. Her name is Sarwar, IFBB Pro Wellness. Did I pronounce that right? Just
Yes, yes, you're right.
okay.
You got it right the first try. Most people are not sure how to pronounce my name.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Trust me, I know the feeling. So you're from Bangladesh.
Yes, I was born and raised there. I've been living in New York the last 20 years.
Oh, okay. How
Yeah.
what was that like coming to the United States like as a kid?
It was an adjustment. I didn't really speak English very well at all. And I was a quiet kid in school because I didn't understand the language and things like that. But I guess I'm glad we came here, even though the transition was hard because it opened me up to all these opportunities that I have now. So I'm
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah. So you've been competing for like 6 years now?
Since 2018, that was my very first
2018?
show. Yeah,
Oh.
it's been a while.
What was that like for you? Like I know like you were like in figure and so you transitioned to wellness.
Yeah, so I did two competitions in women's figure. The very first one was 2018. I did Eastern USA. It was literally the same venue that I went back to do New York Pro this year. So it was
Yeah,
life kind of came in full circle. And then I did another show in figure in 2019. I believe it was around May. I placed in top five in every show that I had competed in up until this New York Pro that I just did. So after doing the two shows in figure, it just wasn't for me. So I didn't feel like I belonged there. The physique is beautiful on many women, but it didn't feel like it was what I wanted to look like. And by that time, it was either bikini or figure or move up even more, like women's physique, women's fitness. And I needed something in between. So when they announced wellness, I was like, okay, I want to do this. So
yeah.
I started bringing down my upper body and kind of building my legs, and I took time off. I didn't compete rest of 2019. Then 2020 COVID happened, and 2021 is when I did my very first show as a wellness competitor.
Yeah. Well, you have a nice physique. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking. Yeah. So how were you like in New York Pro?
So New York Pro prep was one of the hardest prep of my life.
Yeah.
I started touching on that topic very lightly on my TikTok account. It's underscore Sumaiya Sarwar, the same username I have for every platform, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Pretty much, I was with this one coach, very amazing, very knowledgeable. And I have been prepping for this show since October of last year. And my body, I had health issues. My body wasn't responding, I wasn't dropping fat. And when I was 2.5 weeks out, that's when I left that coach and started working with somebody new. So the last 17 days of my prep is when I dropped 10 pounds in 17 days. That was the hardest thing I had ever done. So I wasn't going into the show being like, oh, okay, I'm going to win. I literally went into the show with the mindset of like, I want to look like a pro and I don't want to embarrass myself on that stage. I want to tackle everything that's within my control and I'll just go be humble as a first timer and see what I can learn from the top Olympians. So that is what I did. I did not place on the top 10, but I'm proud of myself for not making a fool of myself and just how everybody was so welcoming and it got good feedback. So I would say overall, it was very eye opening. And I'm grateful to be even have the opportunity to get on that stage.
Yeah. Were you nervous or anything like that? Or
Honestly, I wasn't nervous because I knew um, I emptied my bucket. I knew at that point I did everything I could. Like I was practicing my posing 40 minutes a day. I was doing cardio 1 hour. I was literally eating 700 calories. I was in severe calorie deficit. And there would be days like when I'd have to take multiple naps. I did everything I could. So, in that sense, I wasn't nervous. However, in the backstage, when all the girls are getting ready and we're doing the little pump up session, you do get into like a comparison mode because you see other people's physique and all that. The top two girls, when I saw them, it was clear today that I am not where I should be muscular development wise when it comes to glutes. And that did make me a little nervous. And some of these girls, they've been doing this for years. They're Olympians.
Yeah.
So they go on stage and we're all lined up in the backstage, but we can kind of, from the corner of our eyes, see their stage presence and what they're doing. And that did make me a little bit nervous. And that made me nervous, not in a way like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's more like a realization like, okay, my good is not good enough at this level. I need to work harder. I need to put in more time and I need to humble myself. That was the realization. But that didn't deter me. I was like, I'm still going to go. I'm still going to do the best I can and represent myself.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot to just, you was losing weight and then you decide you want to give it a shot. You knew that you wasn't going to be in the top 10 and
Because we
it,
sign
you,
contracts. We
huh?
actually we have to sign contracts when we sign up for these shows, and that
Oh, okay.
requires us that we are not allowed to back out
No. Well,
unless there's like a medical emergency and we have like doctors thing or something. So I did go and see the head judge Steve when I was about 5 weeks out for feedback in person. And I told him, I was like, Steve, I'm very nervous. This is how I'm looking. I don't look ready for the show. And he gave me very constructive feedback as to like what I could do to improve. And he asked me, he's like, so what? Are you pulling out? Is that why you came to talk to me? I was like, no, like, I'm a woman of my words. I promised you, like, this is something him and I spoke about last year in the summertime. I went to one of his shows, and during tabling event, I spoke to him and I was like, I'm thinking of doing your show. I'm from New York. I want to represent. And if my first show as a pro is going to be on your stage, he's always been like so amazing to me and so welcoming at Bev's Gym. So that was me keeping my promise. And me being like, I made a commitment. I'm an athlete. I'm an honorable human being. So I'm going to go and show up.
yeah.
And that's
Well, I'm glad you did show up. I unfortunately I missed you because I came late. I went to I went to the very end when Nick Walker got his crown and stuff. This was my second time going to the New York Pro. Came late, but it was worse this year because I took the wrong bus and
Mhm.
and yeah, so I did see a lot of people there, so yeah.
There's always next year. So
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about doing live stream, but I don't know. For some reason, it's like another world to me. Going
yeah,
there.
it is. It is.
I'm not a competitor like that, but you know, I would say that I'm an admirer. Of female bodybuilders and stuff like that. So
And we
just
appreciate you. Like we do this for individuals like you. It's not just to show our physique per se. Like we want to inspire, we want to motivate and share
yeah,
our journey. So without you all, who are we sharing our journeys to? you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've worked out, but I never into that world of like dropping calories or like prepping and all that stuff but how did you started bodybuilding? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want it to be like the first question to ask you, so
Mhm.
so I just wanted to kind of but warm up a little bit. But how did you start it as a bodybuilder?
So for me, my fitness journey, just working out, started a long time ago, which kind of led to bodybuilding. I grew up in Bangladesh, and I was actually sexually abused by a family member when I was a child. So by age 6, I was obese. I was eating my feelings to cope. and nobody really knew what was going on with me. So my parents took me to a doctor. They put me on a diet when I was like 6 years old. And my mom would take me outside in front of the house and make me do body weight workouts like jumping jacks and things like that. Like, I grew up considered the ugly child of my family because of my skin tone and because I was chubby, and my mom was like the pretty girl that got picked from the village to marry into a rich family because she's beautiful. So I constantly got kind of told how ugly I was, how dark skinned I was, how fat I was, like how I was not good enough. And my mom and my dad took it onto themselves to put me into diet, to scrub my skin so I get lighter skin, to put me to work out. So that was like part of my upbringing since I was 6 years old, being on a diet, working out, and focusing on being conventionally beautiful, you know. And so by the time I was a teenager, like 11, 12, I had already developed an eating disorder. I would not eat. I would have one meal a day. Like I had really bad relationship with food. But by that age, I got into doing yoga because back home there's no gym. You do body weight workouts, and being a female, like you only work out with your mom or things like that. But my mom had a lot of yoga magazines. I would look at those and hold those poses. So flexibility and yoga was my thing all throughout, like as a teenager. And when we came to America, that was the first time I was, everybody got to take a gym class in gym
Yeah.
right there, and it's co-ed. So that was like the first time I'm around the boys, and here I am, my body's changing. It's a new culture, it's a new country. I don't speak the language. I don't feel comfortable running track or like playing volleyball with both the boy and the girl. Like it was a tough transition as a girl, like identity and everything. So instead of that, I asked my counselor if I could go lift weights. Like what else? It's like what could I do where I'm like left alone in a corner where I don't have to like run around the boys. I was shy. I didn't want to do that, and so they put me in gym class, and I was probably like one of the five girls in there. We just learned how to do like push-ups, do a little dumbbell stuff, and it allowed me to stay in my cocoon because I didn't speak the language, so I didn't really want to be having to like communicate a lot with people. That's when I first started lifting weights when I was in high school. But even then, over the years, like all throughout my college and like later on, um, it was never like serious. I was one of those girls that would just like go to the gym, find a little corner, find two pair of dumbbells, do a little this, little that, some deadlift, 5 pound dumbbells, 10 pound dumbbells. Like after my first breakup, my first relationship with my ex-husband is when I joined the gym as an adult. Like I went and signed up for Lucia Roberts because I just therapy wasn't a thing in my family. It's taboo. So I just wanted to feel better. So I went signed up for the gym, and it was all female gym. Kind of got into that, and I think throughout college I would do those little classes like how college has Zumba or they have yoga or they have cycling or just working out to stay sane or to stay skinny, because being skinny was so important, like in it was ingrained in me. Like if you're not a size zero, there's something wrong with you. Like the beauty ideals was ingrained in me since I was little. Um, and later on, I got into bodybuilding after I did a study abroad in Australia when I was getting my bachelor's degree. That was the first time like I kind of went away somewhere by myself, was exposed to different lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, and I was like, oh, I want to feel good. And by then, combined with the sexual abuse that I had experienced in the past and just like life changes and everything, I had already met my fiance who I'm with now. By then, I guess I was in a place where I wanted to feel strong. I instead of just like being skinny, and I wanted to feel safe in my body. So I started getting into, I would call it like power building, right? I didn't do the 5 pound stuff anymore. I wanted to feel strong. So I would do these heavy like sumo squats and leg press. That's when I grew my quads. I started growing my quads. And after college, I had a job lined up, but instead of taking that, I took a minimum wage job at a gym because I started being questioning what kind of life I want. And I'm like, this 9 to 5 thing, what I see everybody doing, that doesn't spark joy for me. Yes, there's safety, there's security, but all my life I've been just doing things that I've been told. Who am I? What do I want? What makes me feel good? Is it all about money? I was asking myself these questions. So I moved out, I started living with roommates. I had this minimum wage job. All I would do is just buy my little food, go work out in between my lunch break. And I met a few bodybuilders during that time. They explained to me about different categories, and I started looking up all these stages. And I noticed a lack of representation when it came to South Asian people, or, you know, especially when it came to certain divisions of female competitors. And I got in my head, I'm like, I want to be the first one. I want
Yeah,
to compete. I started saying that like back in 2017, 2018. I was like, I want to be the first Bangladeshi IFBB pro. And yeah, and that's kind of like where it started. I did my show. There's been a lot of trial and tribulation, but that dream finally did come true in 2023 December. And here we are.
yeah. Congratulations. Like, how do you see like bodybuilding now? Like it's like all over the world. Like certain parts of the world. You know
Mhm.
that. You know it's in Asia, but like you said, you don't see too many Bangladesh bodybuilders. I know like in India, well, you would say India and you got Bangladesh
Neighbor
is kind of
countries, they're next to each other. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's I know they, the women they like two divisions. They have like bikini and figure, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not that knowledgeable. I would be honest with you. I kind
Yeah,
of lost touch with my roots, or that part of the world. I haven't been back to Bangladesh since I came here in 2005.
yeah,
My relationship with my family is pretty estranged. I don't have a lot of ties to my culture or news or any of that, because over the years since I came here, as I found myself, my identity, my passion, I did things differently than what is expected of me. Hell, like I'm engaged to a black man. My family haven't even like bothered meeting his family.
yeah,
You know, there's a lot of like shunning, and it's like, oh, we don't want to associate with you because you don't follow the things we want you to follow. And I have experienced that not only from my family, but also from a lot of like older generations of the community. I have received a lot of love and acceptance from the younger generations that are like in their 20s or maybe early 30s, or even teenagers that are coming up now with social media. And like right now, bodybuilding is a lot more welcomed versus the older generations. Like my mom would literally tell me, "It's like, oh, you look like a man."
yeah,
When I get shredded and my veins coming out, she's like, "You look like a man." You know, so I understand there's like different generations that I respected, but for my own sanity, I had to distance myself so that I can surround myself with people who understand this lifestyle, who love and support me, because sometimes we need to hear it from outside before we start to believe that we are worthy of the success.
yeah, yeah. That's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like especially when you was talking about the colorism, you know, yeah, I mean, I mean, I would say,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, you're an attractive woman, like for you to go through all that. So,
It's just the beauty ideals are different in different parts of the world. Like I
yeah,
understand, I respect it, but sometimes like we just cannot take on other people's perception of us if it's not gearing us to the right mindset that we need to get to. And
Yeah.
that's like I have mad respect for my parents. I know they did the best they could. Sometimes people's mindset and certain things are so important to them that it's not worth me getting into, like I don't need to make you change your mindset. I
Yeah.
see it. I understand why you believe that. I respect it, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand. Yeah. So your husband, I know he's a bodybuilder, right?
He did his very first competition last year. I
Okay.
kind of inspired him. He's been like around with all my shows and everything over the years, and he played football in high school, so he had the background of working out and things like that. When we met, he was mostly doing powerlifting. Believe it or not, one of the reason I started going to the gym more is because of him, because he would be in the gym and I'm like, I want to be there with you. Like, so it kind of became our thing. On the weekend we'll go work out together, get a cheat meal. But the competing part and the discipline and all that, I'm the one who got into that. And he did his first show finally, like last year. He's nationally qualified now in the light middleweight bodybuilding division, but he's in his 40s, so he may try to win his pro card in the Masters. But we'll see. Like
Yeah.
it's a full-time job supporting somebody who's like competing at this level, and like two people competing at the same time, like being in prep and maintaining a household, all the bills. It's a lot of work, so we kind of have to like plan it out, our next steps.
Yeah. I mean, you guys understand each other, what you go
Yeah.
through. You know, I can imagine if you was married to somebody that wasn't really a part of
Mhm.
the bodybuilding world. I can imagine for them that is because it's different. You know,
Yeah,
it's like the prep and all that, the changes that you guys go through. So I'm like,
it's a
oh
full-time job. Even like my physique, I'm like a three different person during cut,
yeah,
during bulk, and like during maintaining, and we joke about it. He's like, I get three women in one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. So like what's your like your plans? Do you have any plans for the upcoming
Moving forward.
months moving
um
forward?
I'm not ready to share the plan yet
Okay.
about like what I'm doing for the rest of the year. um but I have gotten judges feedbacks from Steve, from Tyler, and pretty much what I was told is that I have a good structure. Like I have the proportions for the division, but my conditioning wasn't at the level that they look for now, at the pro stage, at the Olympia stage, which is something we already knew. Like I kind of crash coursed into this show so that I don't look terrible. But pretty much for me to be competitive, I would have to lose another 10 to 15 pounds.
Mm,
And given how hard it was even to drop that weight, we need to do some work to see what my blood work is like. I am an enhanced athlete, so hormones and things like that plays a role. So this week I am doing like a deload and reversing. I was at 700 calories a day at some point. So it takes a toll on your body. So now we're increasing it slightly. I'm at like 1200 calories and giving myself a little mental break. And we're going to kind of regroup and figure out what to do next, whether to do another show or whether to do like a little health phase to kind of figure out what's going on inside of my body and the hormones. Because like these things are expensive. Like doing these shows, if you're not fully sponsored, like it adds up, and you don't want to keep getting back on stage and placing even on the top 5 is not good enough, because unless you were first place, you don't go to Olympia.
yeah, yeah. I mean, how does bodybuilding keep your sanity?
So for me, everything I am, I can say it wholeheartedly, and everything I know, bodybuilding have taught me. I wasn't raised with a lot of the life skill. right? Like I struggled with depression. I struggled with procrastination, not knowing how to tackle my mental health issues, how to even like organize, like, goal setting, how to break it down into smaller goals. How do you make like a daily task list? Bodybuilding kind of helped me build those level of skills. And as I crushed each goal, my confidence in myself and my ability kind of grew. And I stopped people pleasing. um like I'm not afraid to ask for what I need, or if someone is like being disrespectful, I'm okay. I know how to communicate better, because when you're like in 700 calories and you're dying, you don't want to snap at your partner. You want to communicate like, hey babe, I just need a minute. Like, I still love you, but please don't eat the last piece of chicken. So bodybuilding kind of pushed me to learn a lot of those kind of like life skill, whether that be communication, whether that be like starting a business and things like that. And as I did that along the way, it made me who I am today. And I'm like super grateful. Because nobody taught me that in school. People in my life always told me, you're not going to go anywhere. You're a loser. You're not pretty enough. You're not strong enough. Like, you deserve the bad things to happen to you. So bodybuilding and the community and the opportunities that I have, or that are even opening up, that completely transformed my life.
Yeah. I mean, you said like your culture, they don't believe in therapy. At one point, did you thought about going to therapy? Did
Oh,
you
I have
feel like
been.
therapy? Huh?
I have been.
Oh,
Since
okay.
I went to college is when I think New York Presbyterian Hospital had like a collaboration with Hunter College. And not even that, even when I went to community college in BMCC, like all those opportunities, I was a straight A student. Like, I graduated with 4.0. And most of my college things were paid by scholarships. Or I worked as a bartender to supplement, and I would work at night to pay for my college. I did not, I believe I did not get to where I could go to education wise because of my mental health issues. That is something I do have in my radar, depending on how my life turns out, with a lot of different things with bodybuilding and things like that. But I think it is in my radar at some point to go back to college and get my master's, get my PhD. I'm a very nerdy person. I love learning, I love studying and things like that. But that's when I kind of started dabbling into going to therapy. And over the years, like, I have used BetterHelp, the website for therapy. Ben and I, we have even done couples therapy, figuring out like how to navigate our family issues, the cultural difference, the religion, and all that kind of things. So yeah, therapy is a big part of my life now, like regularly.
You think at one point you're gonna bring bring your husband to Bangladesh just for a visit?
I don't plan on ever going back to that country unless Trump forces me to go back.
Well, you're a citizen, right? So you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to worry.
I
Oh,
haven't been back. Like, one of the reason I haven't been back when I was younger is because I was fearful of my family arranging a marriage and taking away my passport and like taking me there for a trip, getting me married to somebody and just leaving me there, or
wow.
something like that. Because things like that had happened to my friends. So I never went back.
Yeah.
And later on, over the years, I just felt more and more disconnected, and I received a lot of hate, not just from my family members, but from people from Bangladesh in general, especially the ones that live there. You got to understand, it's a very religious country,
Yeah.
hardcore Muslims. Like, honor killing is still a thing. My own cousin would message me and be like, you should drink poison and kill yourself. My own biological cousin. So even now, like, there are certain topics that when I have to conversation with, because I speak on topics that are taboo. Like I spoke to my mother about her nephew sexually molesting me when I was 6 years old. And I'm like, we need to do better. We need to do different. We need to talk about these things and educate our future generation. And her response is like, well, this is how the culture is. We don't talk about these things. But then again, me speaking on that topic openly allowed a lot of my other female cousins to come to me in private and be like, wow, it makes sense why you are the way you are. Thank you for speaking on this topic because we went through these too.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a little tough. That's a little tough. I don't even. I'm kind of speechless on that. Like, I knew a little bit of, like the strict cultures. Your where you're from, but I didn't know to that point. I think like the Arab world is a bit strict, like really traditional, and Indian culture is very they traditional. They, certain things a woman can do, certain things a woman can't do. So yeah, that's pretty rough. Like, you
And
know,
it's like um, sometimes because a culture looks at woman's body as sacred doesn't mean that abuse is not happening behind closed doors. And I feel like there's this dichotomy. Just recently, the day of my show, I actually received a message from a fellow Bangladeshi female bodybuilder um, from OCB, a natural organization who I have never met. And she pretty much sent me a bullet point of things why she does not like me. And her thing was like, oh, you only train glutes. You don't train for strength. You don't lift heavy. Everything you post is sexualized. And mind you, it's not. If you compare me to like people from wellness athletes from other parts of the world, like Latino countries or like Brazil or things like that. But I don't think I do that. But even if I did, I look at it like my body, my choice, my power. I'm very comfortable, and it took me a long time to get to this point that I'm able to fluidly navigate between my masculinity when things need to get done and I need to lift heavy and grunt like a man. I mean, women grunt too, grunt in general, versus when I need to put on the charm and do the posing and do the eye contact and do the little sassiness and things like that. People who are sometimes from upbringing where that is frowned upon, they can't see anything past your body. They don't see the work, the dedication, the character, the integrity, the strength that it takes to go to that point. And that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm no longer going to hide myself because I'm not somebody's cup of tea.
yeah. Would you say like you're more of a liberal, or or you or traditional, or you just in between?
I don't believe in categorizing myself,
Uh,
honestly, because my outlook is different in different topics. Um, yeah, so I don't know, to be
that's
honest.
okay. It's all right. Panther, good morning, brother KLA and beautiful Maya Sawa. And when it comes to building muscle faster, are you more upper or body dominant? Like, what do you train more? I know you train more on the legs because you're in wellness.
My
You got
upper body grows so easily.
yeah.
My upper body is my strength. Like I'm upper body dominant. That's why I think there was like months when I wasn't even allowed to train upper body. They
Oh
just
yeah.
grow. Yeah, especially coming from a woman's figure division, I already had like a decent, nice back and my shoulders and things like that. So moving to wellness division, I kind of had to cut back on upper body a lot. I rarely train chest. We're actually not even allowed to train chest. Um, and it's mostly lower body. It's always lower body 3 times a week and heavy, like heavy lower body days. Upper body days feel more like a mini pump. Like I'm not growing it, it's more like maintaining it.
Yeah. How far do you see yourself competing?
What do you mean?
No, how far do you see yourself competing? Like, you know, is it for like years? I mean, because you know it's an intense sport. You know, that's why I'm asking out of curiosity. And then the stuff that you guys got to go through, the traveling and being on stage, and you was mentioning earlier about, you know, you had like you was going through weight loss a lot,
Mhm.
like and it could be stressful. Like I was just curious, like how far do you see yourself like just doing it like to a certain point, and then you kind of like do something else, like be like a fitness instructor that you are, or that's why I'm
I mean,
asking.
I do have my coaching business and I have been training clients and things like that since 2018.
Yeah,
Now I mostly like exclusively work with women that are athletes
yeah,
or looking to compete. That's a deep question you asked me because that's gonna, I'll be 100% honest with you. So I have been with my fiance for 10 years. And a big reason we haven't taken like the next step is because of the family drama and cultural issues and finances. He's older than me. He's like 7, 8 years older than me. And so we recently got engaged like last summer. It took us a long time to even get engaged. And my family's still not fully accepting it. Like his family and my family haven't met. Um, all my life, because I come from a dysfunctional family, as a woman, all I ever wanted was to get married and have my own family and have little babies. Right. And I haven't been able to do that. I poured into myself, I poured into bodybuilding. Now, how long I compete is going to depend on that. It's going to depend on when we are in a place that he can be like, okay, babe, I got you. Like, you stay home. Let's have some kids. Let's buy a house. Like, I have that dream. I want that. I want that family life. Like, I am going to expose myself here, but I am a kept woman. I'm not a 50-50 woman. For me, it's like when it comes to things like that, I'm very traditional. Like I submit to my man, like he takes the charge, that kind of person. Um, Life has forced me to become hyper independent because people in my life has let me down many times, and I am like doing well financially, but I'm not the kind of I don't look into doing it all. So when I become a mother, or when it's time for me that we can afford to have babies and a house and things like that, I would take a step back. Like I don't plan on competing when motherhood comes around. I'm gonna hang up the towel. I could do my little business and coaching, and I'd still be present and help other women. But competing is going to like completely stop once we get to that point because I want to be present in my kid's life and be a full time mom. So it all comes down to, but we're not in a place financially because we both compete and it's expensive.
yeah,
So we're not in a place to be able to do that yet. So the next few years, I don't know how many years, I'm just gonna give my all into building my brand, into coaching, being a public face. Because this was kind of like my introduction to the world. I got to meet Jay Cutler. I got to meet like a lot of big name people, and I felt so welcomed. I feel like up until now, I didn't really even experience this kind of camaraderie. So I'm hooked. Like my fire has been lit, and I know there's so many opportunities that I can take advantage of and help people, and the amount of love and welcoming energy that I'm feeling, and I'm not even top 10. It's awesome. It's like imagine when I actually show up my best and I actually do good. So this is where I'm at. Like right now it's full goal mode. Like go build that empire, go secure that bag, like go travel the world and set ourselves up so that in a few years I don't know how long. Could be 3 years, could be 5 years, could be 8 years. Only God knows certain plans we can plan, but we're not in charge of everything. When it's time for me to do, take the step back and have children and get into that phase of my life, because that's something I want in my life.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working towards right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's competitors that they have kids and married and all that, got career and stuff, and they find ways to juggle it. I just asked the question because I mean, just understanding it, it's not very easy. Like
Mhm.
it can be stressful. How I understand it.
Yeah,
So
I've hustled all my life. I've always
yeah,
had to work all my life. So that to me is going to be kind of like a, I don't want to hustle. I don't want to juggle family and kids and competing. Because when I'm competing, it takes everything. And I give like respect to, I even have athletes in my team that do that. They have like multiple children and career and everything. I see how hard they work. Um, it's just a standard that I have for myself and something I want to like work towards. I respect people who are able to do that, but I don't want to do that.
yeah. Do you have like since you entered the sport, have you like do you have like admirers of it? Like I know you mentioned Jay Cutler, but any like women bodybuilders that you like?
Like people I look up to that inspires me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, inspire. Cause I know some people. I know there's people that be like, well, I don't really have anybody to inspire. I inspire myself. But it's like you like a basketball player, and he's inspired like by Michael Jordan, and
Mm.
he can't be like Michael Jordan, but just seeing the other talented players around him or in the league and stuff like that. I was wondering if that's the case for you as a bodybuilder. Do you
I
see
have
someone?
never been the kind of person to put people on a pedestal.
Yeah,
When I look at someone that's successful in certain area, it inspires me. Uh, I don't feel envy or jealousy. For me, it's like, wow, you are doing this. I can do it too. So I don't fangirl over people, but certain individuals, like let's say Isa Pereira, the wellness champion, I have been told I'm short like her, so I have like similar physique in some way. I have a long way to go to get to that level. Obviously, I know that. But her and I have the same posing coach. So I would sometimes like look at her workout styles and things like that, or posing styles, and be like, oh, that's amazing. Maybe I can do that too. So she's someone I really admire in that sense because she inspires me. And then there's Lorelai check the bikini Olympians. I just certain women, like their energy, the way they carry themselves is so graceful, and everything that they have been through and everything they have accomplished. For me, like the character, the personality, the story, the work ethic, the grace, like all those things, I believe what we see in others, it exists in us. It's a mirror, a reflection. We notice certain things, and I'm like, wow, that's great. That's amazing. That's the way my mind kind of works.
yeah. So we got if you could make a movie about your life, what would it be called, and who would you cast as you?
It's funny you say that because one of the things I have on my bucket list or like life list is to be a published author, because I am a writer. Like um and I one of my thing in college was creative writing, like fiction, nonfiction, things like that. So that is something I do want to do one day. I feel like I'm not big enough. I'm nobody. I'm at the bottom of the barrel in the pro league. Once I feel like it's time, I would write a book. And who knows, maybe that book will get turned into a movie. My life has been like a movie. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and I keep coming back up. I'm very resilient. The name would be A Story of Resilience, Sumaiya Sarwar, or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good title. I mean, you've been resilient. Yeah. Like
But I don't know who I would cast. I never thought about that. I haven't thought that far.
yeah, well, the casting takes time. You got to find somebody that has that perfect presence that you
Mm,
feel and stuff like that. Because I know like like trying to like cast somebody as a fictional character, like
mm.
it's a long process. So imagine
Like
somebody in real life.
Arnold's book, I read his books regularly. Like he's so motivating and inspiring. And look at him, how he's like bigger than life with the Arnold Sports Festival and everything he has accomplished, and even like politics and things like that. So sometimes like we don't think big enough, and then you don't know, like life works out in mysterious ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you mentioned Arnold, but a lot of people they not really pleased with Arnold because he cut off some shows, especially with the Arnold Classic. Do you have like especially with the women, you know, like bodybuilding, figure, um, yeah, women's physique. Like, how
I
do you
have
feel about
respect
that?
for everyone, you know. Like
Yeah,
I do my best to be respectful, and I'm nowhere in a place to just throw my opinions at things
yeah,
that I'm not very knowledgeable about. Like I know bits and pieces because I see it on like RX Muscle or like different little news things related to bodybuilding. Um, but I don't have much to say on these topics. They're
yeah.
like, you know,
I understand. It's okay.
I'm
It's
very
okay.
non-problematic. Like I'm respectful and problematic.
Yeah,
I observe, but I don't have.
I hear it all
I
the time. I mean, with the no, I was saying I hear it all the time from other fans of female bodybuilding that they look at him like they lost respect for him. They like what he accomplished, but at the same time certain things that he's done over the years, especially with women bodybuilding, they don't like it. So that's why I asked, as a bodybuilder, how did you feel about it? But I mean, like you said, you don't want to go along with everybody thinks. So I could respect that.
I mean, the wellness division is where I compete in, and it's
Yeah,
fairly new. This division is very new. It's just been few years, and so far, I feel like wellness athletes, we have been loved and represented very well in every show, regardless of if it's like Arnold's or Olympia, IFBB, NPC, Natural, everywhere. So as in wellness athletes, that's all I can say because I'm not a physique athlete. I'm not a bodybuilding athlete. Those divisions been around for many years. You know,
yeah,
I am not knowledgeable enough in those topics in those divisions to have an opinion. I feel I can only come from a grateful place as the division that I represent because we have received nothing but love.
yeah. Wish you all the best and days to come. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to show your Instagram.
Sure.
Um, yeah, because you have a lovely physique, and like other people to see it and see the progress that you do. Yeah, starting with this, you do the tire thing, huh? This is
I have another photo shoot coming up this Sunday, so we'll have new material up for y'all. I'm doing a photo
oh
shoot
this
with
was
visual. This
oh
was
okay
before the show.
this was like a photo shoot thing. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I see people do that, but I haven't done that. Like I know I could imagine like rolling a tire. Like what does that do? Like that do give you like endurance or something like stamina
I mean,
or
depending on your
cardio?
positioning of your foot and everything, you could utilize like your glutes on this, the stance that I have, or even like quads or core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So you work on your legs and yeah.
It's always leg day for wellness.
When did you
Today's
notice like I'm
sorry.
sorry, I ain't mean
No, no,
no,
no.
I was gonna go ahead, go ahead.
I was just saying today's my first rest day um,
Oh,
from the gym since the show.
oh. How many days you work out on legs? Like if I can
Three
ask you
days,
that. Two
three leg
days?
days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it
So I
intense for you?
always, yeah. I did legs
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, and my next leg day is going to be Saturday.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow. When did you notice that your quads was getting big and
When I first started like doing power building, I would call it back in 2017, 2018, my quads
yeah,
were the first thing to grow. But then again,
okay.
I was doing a lot of like sumo deadlift. I was doing a lot of conventional squats and leg press. So I think I was mostly utilizing my quads a lot. So that was the first thing to grow.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I rarely do quads. I just
Mm,
maintain it for the most part. I'm
yeah.
usually always training glutes and hamstrings because those were the body parts that I needed to bring out to be competitive in the wellness division to
Yeah.
balance it out.
Yeah, I mean like you have a nice physique. Like I like how it's shaped. Yeah. You know. I would wish I could say more, but you're a married woman, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But how do
Appreciate.
yeah, like how do you like how would you like as a barber or person of fitness, how do you like promote yourself? Because I know you're on YouTube and you have like a YouTube channel that talks about your journey, your fitness journey a lot of times and stuff like that.
I'm on social media a lot, but this is something that I'm working on. Um, so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I have a private Facebook group for the women that are in my team. I have my own website with all my services, my own clothing line, and affiliate links and everything there. And yeah, just social media. But now that I've after New York Pro, I do plan on showing up to a lot more of the local events at the competitions, and I will make an effort to show up to the big pro shows as well, so that I can kind of like represent myself, get to meet the fans in person a lot more, and hopefully get more sponsorship and be in booths for different supplement companies and things like that.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be in on Neo Pro next year, or would you want to do that next year?
I'm not ready to share, but maybe you'll
Oh,
have to
oh,
stay up to date on my social media to find out my next moves.
yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
to share. I don't like to share everything until like things are concrete. That's one thing I learned from this experience because I was like, I'm gonna do near pro, near pro, near pro. And then I kind of found myself in this tight thing, like, okay, now I'm not ready physically, but I still have to do the show. So I learned from that. So I'm not going to kind of like make a commitment until I know that I can do it and deliver.
yeah. That's like I think that was like my first show that I've attended. I went there. I started going to shows last year, and then you mentioned OCB. I've been to OCB shows. You know, I think the last one I went to was in Atlantic City, the Double Down. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I met a physique competitor, IFBB physique competitor. Her name is Michelle. If you are familiar with her, so yeah.
I will be
So
at NPC Universe if anyone's interested. Come say hi. I may look a little shy, but I am a talker. So if you come up to me, I will talk to you. We'll take pictures.
yeah.
It's a good thing.
No, I was saying, when I was there, sometimes I wasn't sure to approach people and stuff, and you know, I got to work on that. But it's like a different world, because I'm not a bodybuilder like that. I'm more of a spectator, you know.
No, we're all like we're very welcoming, kind people. We're not scary. We may look scary, but we're like mushy teddy bears once you get us talking.
Yeah, I guess I gotta give people a chance, so
Like
that,
for
that
me, I'm only 4'11". I'm a short little person. Like you can't even tell that I got these muscles because when I'm wearing like big hoodie and stuff, I blend in. I look like a small school girl maybe because I'm only 110 pounds and 4'11". So
yeah, that's short.
I'm
How tall is your husband? Like,
he is 5'10".
okay, yeah, that's around my height. Yeah, yeah. I think he probably a little taller than me. I thought I was five. I should be like 5'10", 5'9". That, yeah, that point. Yeah. So, somebody's asked this question: seeing how big your quads are, have you ever tried doing the watermelon challenge where you crush it with your thighs? You could do it easy.
No,
Yeah.
people are asking me about that. I've never tried that.
Yeah, I mean, there's bodybuilders that they tend to do that. They see how
Um,
strong their quads are. Yeah, that's
I
more of
don't
a
know if
fetish.
yours are
Than
that
your
strong.
husband.
Maybe like when I go into like full blown like improvement season and I get my strength back, who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
I'll try it since everybody keeps asking me about it.
yeah. Like that's not the first time nobody.
No, a lot of people ask me, like, they've been asking me for the last few years if I do that. I've never
Yeah,
tried.
who knows? Who knows? But I don't want to take you hostage. I really appreciate you sharing your journey, and yeah, thank you for giving me a chance to interview you. You're like my first.
Pleasure. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you're like my first wellness IFBB pro. Yeah, so
Well, thank you for reaching out to me. I had a great conversation with you. So
yeah, thank
hopefully
you.
we can do this again in the future. And next time I do better in my show.
I would like to. I would like to have you again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Uh,
So somebody asks, thank you for your time and good luck, Samaya. Maybe go one flex before you go. You don't have to do it if you don't.
I don't
All right.
mind.
That's cool. That's
All
cool.
right, guys. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
All
Enjoy
right.
the rest of the day.
You too.